It's normal for men to make a list of reasons why they should not be a priest. Like them, St. Maurice struggled with his own
insecurities, his own limitations. He saw he wasn't worthy about being a priest. And she would remind him that don't worry about that. See past that. If you're being called to do this, God will work through all those limitations that he had.
Father Richard Smith recalls reading what St. Therese told St. Maurice in her letters of encouragement to discern.
I think every guy struggles with when he starts to think about the magnitude of what he's about to take on, that I don't have it. Here's a laundry list of reasons why I should not be a priest, and yet here I am still being called to that. And I remember Therese telling Maurice in one of the letters, like, it's okay. If this is what you are meant to do, you'll be given the grace to accomplish it, but also that you won't be hindered by it. And I remember that wisdom really speaking a lot to me, especially in my early years here in the seminary.
He says his call to priesthood was not singular, but a series of moments that he later realized were calls from God.
When I was in high school, I was going back and forth between either going into history, I loved history, especially U.S. history, and the law, thinking about becoming a lawyer, or entering the priesthood. So I was able to get an internship at the DA's office in Philadelphia, and to this day I can't tell you why, but during my lunch breaks I always ended up at the cathedral. I would get down there, I would walk around in it, I would get there sometime for noon mass, maybe got down there in time for confessions, but for the life of me I could never explain why every lunch break during that internship I was at the cathedral. And I look back at that now and it's like, I look at it like I was saying, Rick, you were in the right area, you're just off a couple blocks, with the DA's office being just up the street from the cathedral. So it was little moments like that that added up and led me to where I am today.
Father Smith entered St. Charles Seminary after high school. His parents were surprised he was entering so quickly instead of first attending college.
At the time, I was like, no, I need to figure this out now. Before I do anything else in my life, I've got this itch about becoming a priest that if I need to answer this now.
When Father Smith began, he was not certain the priesthood was for him. Rather, he came to explore the possibility.
I came here to discern. That's what the seminary is for, but I came here to discover if this is what God was calling me to do. I was 100%.
His mentor, Father Ron Jakehouse, told him not to look at the big picture, but instead take it day by day. He said,
just give it a year. And at the end of the year, you think you're still being called to this place, come back for the next year. And for about 4 to 5 years, I did that. And it was towards the end of that 5th year that I realized, you know what, this is what I'm being called to do.
Between all the retreats, camps, and spiritual conferences, Father Smith says the seminary's 40 Hours event was his favorite because it was
that time where everything else stops. The classes, the tests, the paper writing, all of it stops to focus on Christ and the true presence of the Eucharist. And it's the time for every guy then in 40 hours to remember that he's becoming a minister of the Eucharist. That one day when he says those words and in his hands bread and wine will become Jesus. That's what I loved about 40 hours.
Acting as Christ to others, Father Smith recalls a time when he learned a parishioner's baby was diagnosed with meningitis. On his way to the hospital,
it dawns on me, oh, you haven't baptized anybody yet. So your first baptism is going to be in a hospital bedroom.
Years later, when he was moving to another parish and saying goodbyes to the family and their now healthy son, the father
looks at me dead in the eye and says, no, this is not goodbye. You will always be part of this family. And I look back at that moment, it really makes me remember why it is I'm a priest, is that and you hear this phrase said often, that I'm a member of everyone's family. That I'm there for everyone who comes into my life, and I have no idea how you're going to affect people's lives. And just by what that man said to me, you will always be part of this family. And it's one of many moments I have I look back on and smile, like, you know what, you got it right.
Father Smith recalls that story as one of the many times he gave strength to others and knows his vocation to the priesthood was the right choice.
So this is why I'm a priest, is to help people see that love of God. And in that one moment, and I've had many others since then, but that moment sticks out that I got it right.